Hi!
So, due to everything that's happening right now, we have to shoot outside now, not indoors until further notice.
In his backyard, not like...
So yeah, we're in my backyard right now. Currently abiding the 6 feet away rule. I think. Kind of. So about everything that's going on right now, we're gonna be talking about Cali and what's up with that.
So if you're just joining us, you should watch our first video where we mention who we are, trips we've been on, future plans, and upcoming trips, because we'll be talking about California today.
For those of you that aren't here in New York, because I know we have viewers in UK and Australia, New York's under quarantine right now because of the coronavirus, obviously. We started opening up recently, not all places, but most places, and even the places that haven't opened up, people are already going out. You know, it's mayhem over here. I'm sure it's mayhem over there too, but anyway, I know New York's under quarantine, so we can't do much around here, and I know Cali's under quarantine too, so we can't do much over there either. So we booked this trip in November of 2019, and that was before like the pandemic was even brought up, or I think it was just starting to be mentioned. Like it was not even like, it wasn't here, and it wasn't a big threat. So if you would have told us back then that a pandemic would be stopping us from going to Cali over the summer, I wouldn't believe you. Yet here we are. So we booked a bundle deal in Expedia. So we got the hotel, we got the car, we got
And
the flight. We got everything. Round trip, yeah. So like literally we were set. We even planned out like where we were going, what we were gonna do. And then this comes around, right? So we booked the trip, and so we just had to wait it out. We planned everything out, like where we were going, what we were gonna record and stuff, you know. Then the pandemic came, right? So we were cruising because it was March, and our trip was going to be at the end of May, literally like the last day of May, I think. So we were like, well, this should blow over maybe. So we just wrote it out. New York closed before St. Patrick's Day, because I remember I stopped going to college like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before New York and closed down, and I still remember that people were trying to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Shame on you.
In our first video, we recorded it in March. Like, what, 3 days before we actually closed down?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we mentioned, we're like, oh, we're going to California, and then...
Yeah, our first video, we recorded it like I think a week or two before we closed down, and we were like, yeah, we're going to California, woo. We had 3 decisions, the 3 choices. We had either go, cancel, or reschedule. And so what happened was we started like thinking about these things in April-ish. So I would always go on Expedia and look at their updated policies for the pandemic, and it said that we would be insured basically for like a year since our flight date. So I was like, okay, but I was still a month away, so I was gonna wait it out like probably 10 days before our trip, and that's what Expedia was recommending too. They were like, if your trip is more than 10 days away, don't bother doing anything because our calls are already flooded and blah blah blah. So either way, I had to wait until 10 days or less of our trip to do something. So I was like, it's whatever. Then April came around, like towards the end of April, beginning of May, California announced that they were going through phase 1 of opening again. So then we were like put up with the decision, should we go? They're reopening. By the time we go, they'll probably be on phase 2 and stuff will be open. So we were going with 2 other people, her cousin and her boyfriend. So it wasn't just a decision between us two, it had to be a group decision. And part of me and also the others was that it wasn't so much that they were reopening, it was the fact that we'd be out in the open running into people that could possibly be infected or something. You get what I mean? Like, it's so close to, like, it's so close to the margin of opening. Like, they would have been opening phase 2, or like people would just be leaving their houses again and we'd be in the middle of it. So it was kind of a risk. So there was that. But there was also this thing that, like, we wanted to travel, you know, we want to go away. So it was a tough decision. I asked the group chat and we talked about it, and all of us basically agreed if it was possible to cancel it / reschedule it, because there's just no point in risking ourselves. It's so close. It was so close to the brim of reopening that we'd be literally risking ourselves. That and stuff probably wouldn't even be open, you know, like Universal and like Disney. There's Disney over there, right? Disney's over there, right?
I think so.
I think so too.
Hollywood.
Stay there. You know, all that. It'd be closed and stuff, so you know, it'd be kind of a waste of our money going there. You know, because also we're still talking about when beaches were closed and everything, so like literally restaurants closed, bars closed, everything's closed.
There wouldn't be anything to do.
There literally wouldn't be anything to do. So we were facing either being forced to go or rescheduling. Why? Because I was looking at the Expedia policies and they're like, okay, hotel can be canceled, car rental can be canceled, but the airplane, that has to be rescheduled for a year in advance, like within the year of your flight. So I didn't really know what the right decision was, because you know how much of a hassle it is to not only have to reschedule your flight, but also have to reschedule your booking for the hotel, and you're like, how lucky are you gonna be that the same dates you wanted this year are gonna be available next year, and how lucky are you that the same flight that you bought this year is gonna be the same price next year? So like, it's just, I was trying to avoid the hassle of having to go through that. So that's the part of me that was like, you know, maybe we should just go to get it over with. But the group decision said otherwise. So I mean, it was for the best. I personally I didn't want to go. It was just a matter of not losing my money.
Yes. So since we came to the conclusion of canceling it, I had the job of canceling with Expedia, which was a hassle.
Yeah.
So I had to go on the chat to cancel with like an agent.
Yeah.
Right? And so the way they have it is that you can either cancel like one thing at a time, and that was more complicated because you didn't really know if you could just
do it all at once.
Yeah. So I had to wait like an hour to actually be able to cancel everything. They assigned me with like 3 different people. Each one had to restart the entire conversation of what I wanted to do. Like at one point I was so annoyed. I was like, let me just screenshot and send them the summary.
She kept sending me the like screenshots of the chat, and like before you get to an agent, you talk to one of those computers. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about when you go for like chat support, and you have to talk to a computer first to like so it categorizes your issue and connects you to the right person. Well, she had to go through that like 3 different times, She talked to that robot 3 different times saying, what would you like to do? Did I not answer your question? What is your question then?
Luisa. She was my homegirl that actually canceled everything for me. She wanted to see like the hotel, we were able to cancel it. The rental, we were able to cancel it. The flight, we were able to cancel it, but like we wouldn't get a refund. We would just get a credit for everything.
My worst nightmare.
Yeah. So let's say like it was like $20. You would have $20 credit for the next trip you take. The only thing I'm not sure is if it's with the same airline.
I think it is. I think it is.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but what?
Because yeah, they lost the money.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and another thing, like either the refund for the hotel and the rental, we don't get it until like 30 days. So
oh yeah.
In 30 days, hopefully we get that money back.
I was really trying to avoid that issue of the rescheduling the flight, because I think they said it, or if you go, because we were supposed to travel through Alaska Airlines, and I went on their page, like this is what I mean, like Expedia said one thing and their page said another thing. So I was reading it through Alaska Airlines and they're like, you'll be able to reschedule it for a year in advance, like within that. And I was like, so what happens if I reschedule it like in a year but the price of the flight went up? Turns out I have to pay.
Oh really?
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what happens.
It's cheaper.
They don't give us our money back. We still have that credit. Buy me a $20 flight. Instead, we'll be home, waiting for your views.
So since we're in quarantine and there's really not much to do, we're gonna be uploading our trip that we had gone recently, and which was Atlantic City.
Yeah.
So that's what's gonna be coming up after this.
After that, we're gonna be doing some sit-down content. You know, like stuff right here. So we have Atlantic City coming up, and then we have some sit-down content again. Then we're gonna go into Philly,
which is the most recent trip that we've been on.
And then some more sit-down content, and then hopefully by then we'll be out and about. You guys should let us know what you guys want to see in terms of like sit-down content, or even where do we go, you know? Like if you places you suggest we go. It could be anything really traveling related, or you could even suggest places to go either in New York or even out of state, upstate, doesn't matter. Because I feel like by July, I think this should be easing up a bit, so we'll be at least able to go like a block or two away.
As for trips that are coming up soon, we don't really know.
Yeah.
We don't really know when this is gonna be over, and like we already had California planned, so now we have to plan a whole new trip, and that's a process. I don't know if you guys would like to see that actually. Like, how do we?
Yeah.
Narrate,
how do we?
how
do we decide?
Narrow down.
How we narrow down our stuff? Yeah. Our initial idea was that after
close.
Cali, go close, you know. So on the east side, we still have Boston left. So Boston was definitely on our radar to get it over with, and that was supposed to be after Cali, because we usually take 3 trips a year.
It depends on like how much each trip is.
Yeah.
So if it's like a trip that's only was like 2 days, then okay, we can take another one. But if it's like a trip that's like 2 weeks, I don't think we'll be able to.
Yeah. And it also depends how we're feeling. Like for example, Philly, we cooked up Philly in like a week. We were like, I want to go on a trip, and she was like, yeah, me too. And so then we were like, all right, let's go. So we ended up going to Philly like in a week. Whereas something like Washington D.C. or like
that one took a while to
Atlantic City, we planned those out like months ahead, like 4 months ahead, 5 months ahead. Cali, we planned out 6 months ahead. So yeah, we could probably like, once this blows over, because we have to keep in mind that we need money for Cali, so we're gonna get that money back, but that
Keep
money's
the
for
winter.
Cali.
Yeah.
So we'd be bargaining with money that we don't technically have.
Yeah.
So we have to keep that in mind. Plus the way that jobs aren't like available right now, or like working full-time schedule isn't working out right now. We have to keep that in mind for future trips. We usually plan our trips winter, summer, maybe spring break. So if anything, the closest possible trip right now would either be in August, and that's pushing it,
Yeah.
or winter break for our college winter break. Those are the closest possible places that we could make a trip. And our hopes is that for California, we'll have it a year from now.
I still want to go like in May because I feel like that's
Yeah.
like the perfect weather and like stuff like that.
We have until May, so in summary, no Cali, no trip planned for the future, but we do have a trip being posted coming up. There's that. There's gonna be more sit-down content, and hopefully by then New York will be open again for business, because we already have ideas
Yeah.
for New York. So yeah, like this video
Leave a comment down below.
and subscribe.
Subscribe.
Somewhere.
Try to get us to 50 subscribers.
Yeah.
Bye.